Hi Siomate, welcome to my channel. I am Gift and you're welcome to this Gift and Couture. So in today's tutorial, I want to show you how to draft this beautiful dress. So I'm not sewing it, this is just a drafting tutorial, alright? So you can go ahead and sew it if you like it. So this is what you are going to learn, and you can see how the cup is seated. So if this is your first time of coming across my channel, please do well to subscribe, like, share, comment. Let's get started. So now the first thing you are going to do, you are going to open your pattern down. The reason I folded it was just for me to be able to gum it together, just like what you saw in the previous scene. So now for you, you can go ahead and open yours. For me, this is what I did. I folded it into two, like I'm cutting it two on each side. All right, so let's go. Now the first thing you're going to do, go ahead and mark your 1 inch, which is going to be used as your top line. So the next thing I did was to go ahead and label it the top line. So from that top line, place your tape rule on it and mark 1.5. So this 1.5 is standardized. Go ahead and connect the lines. That's for your shoulder. So from that top line, go ahead and mark your bust point, your under bust, your half length, and from that half length, so that's your half length, either your half length, call it half length or full front length. All right, so from that half length downward, go ahead and mark 8 inches. That 8 inches is actually for your hip line. So when you are done, go ahead and connect it, and that's what I did. So when you are done, connect it just like this. Next thing is to go ahead and label it. That's the shoulder, the bust point, the under bust, half length. The next one is half length, and the last one is the hip line. You can go ahead and label yours as well. So next thing is to go ahead and measure your armhole. To get your armhole length, divide your bust by 6 and add 1.5 to it. Whatever you have, make sure you mark it from your shoulder downward. Alright, from where we marked the 1.5, you are going to mark it downward. So for me, I have 7.5 and I marked it. So that 7.5 is what I'm going to be using as my across chest. So I went ahead to label it across chest. So let's go up to the shoulder. Divide your shoulder into 2 and then mark it, even though we are not going to use it. All right, so let's just use this as a guideline. All right, so when you are done, go ahead and mark your neckline. For me, I use 3.5 as the width and 3 inches rather, not 3.5 as the neck depth. Okay, so from there I went ahead to connect it and also connect the shoulder slope slantly. So when you are done like this, next thing is to go on your across chest and then divide your across chest measurement into 2 and then mark it. So if you don't know how to get your across chest measurement, just minus half from your shoulder and then mark it. So on that across chest, divide your bust measurement into 4 and then mark it. Now the distance from your bust to your across chest measurement where you mark, divide it into 4, and then from your shoulder downward to your across chest, divide it into 2 rather, and then on the midpoint, going by 0.5 and then go ahead and connect it using your French curve. If you don't have French curve, you can use your hand as well. So on your bust point measurement on the line, go ahead and divide your bust into 4 and then that's it. So before we continue, let's go ahead and divide our bust band. Divide your bust band into 2, that's your nipple to nipple measurement, and mark it on your waist, on your hip line, and then when you are done, go ahead and connect it. So you can see from my waist downward to my hip line, the length is 8 inches. So when you are done, connect it. Go ahead and measure half inch on both sides of the waistline. That's on your half length. Measure half inch. So this measurement works for everybody. If you've watched my previous video on how to draft a basic bodice, you can use that one as well. So next measurement is to go up to your under bust measurement. All right, and that your under bust, you're going to share 1 inch on both sides. Now how to get this measurement? All right, minus your under bust, round under bust measurement from your bust measurement, whatever you have, any measurement we have, divided by 6. All right, so for me, I have 36 minus 30. My bust is 36 and my round under bust is 30, so minus it. So whatever you have divided by 6, and I got 1. So that one, you're going to put 1 on this side, put 1 on the other side, and then connect the line just like the way you're seeing on your screen. All right, so go ahead and do your own depending on how busty you are. In some cases you can have 0.7, in some cases you can have, but majority is 1. All right, majority of measurement I've used is 1, so you can go ahead and do it. So on your shoulder, you're going to divide your shoulder into 2 from where you mark your neckline to where the shoulder stops. All right, go ahead and divide it into 2, and then when you're done, go ahead and connect the lines. So because we are going to be using this to close our side dart. So from your shoulder, because of how the style is, I don't want it to be too high, so I'm going to be using 8 inches. So that 8 inches that I marked, that's from my shoulder downward. I'll go ahead and mark it, and because of that, since it's strapless, you are going to go ahead and close the armhole side so that your boob will not be showing. So from there you can see I mark 1 inch, and then go ahead and connect it. This is just to get the neck guideline. All right, but this is not how the neck is going to be based on the style. Okay, so from there you're going to go ahead, just to tighten the bust, you're going to go ahead and mark 0.7, that's 3/4 on both sides of your measurement. All right, so let's go ahead and connect it. So now you can either use, depending on how busty you are, this 0.7 works for almost everybody. So when you are done, you can use 1 inch depending. All right, so let's go ahead and cross check the measurements. So that we remove, we are going to add to it. So I've gone ahead to cross check the measurement. You can go ahead and do the same thing as well. Remember, my bust is 36. All right, I'll mark that 36 there, and next thing is to go ahead and add the what's it called, the dart to it. So I've gone ahead to add the dart to it just like that. Go ahead and do the same thing on your bust area. Remember, we didn't touch our bust. I'll go ahead and connect it. On your under bust, this measurement was not really necessary, but I just took it like that. So go ahead and cross check your measurement as well. My round under bust is 30, so let's go ahead and cross check it. There you can see how I place the tape roll. All right, I use it to minus from the measurement and then mark it. So that's 7.5. All right, so on the waistline, next thing is to go ahead and cross check my waist measurement. I'll go ahead and mark it, and then turn the tape roll to the other side and then mark it. So in this tutorial, because let's assume I want it to be like a corset, it's actually a corset, and I want to have loop. My waist is 32. All right, that's my waist. So because I'm going to snatch it, instead of using that 32, I'll be using 28, of which I'm still going to show you. So on my hip measurement, I divided my hip into 4 and then mark the line. So when you've gotten to this point, go ahead and connect your measurement. Like I said, remember I said the under bust measurement was not really necessary. All right, so now that we are done like this, so we are going to create a bone channel on the center front. I divided it into 2 on this side. I also went ahead to divide it into 2. Now it depends on how you want your bonnet to be. If you want your bonnet to be more than this, you can go ahead and create more channel on it. So on the bust area, I went ahead to divide it into 2 because I'll be connecting it to the hip line. So on that hip line, I also went ahead to connect the center front as well. So because of how the neckline is, all right, so let's go ahead and measure the actual neckline. So from my shoulder downward, I'll go ahead and mark 6 inches. So this 6 inches is normal. All right, and then I'll go ahead. So I'm using 6 inches because I don't want it, based on the style. Like I said, based on the style. Next thing is to go ahead and connect it to my armhole. So let's go ahead and use marker to make it a little bit more clearer. So that's just it. So now that we are done, so next measurement is to go ahead and connect where we marked the 0.5, extend it together so that we can get the actual fitting, so that it will be firm on our chest. All right. So on the waistline, you can either remove this measurement from the side if you don't want to share the dart. I went ahead to share 1 inch on both sides, that's half an inch. But if you want to share this dart, there are so many ways to do it. You can divide this 1 inch into 4, where you will be putting 0.2, 0.2, 0.2 on different sides depending on where you want it to be, and that's it. It is not compulsory you put the same measurement there. So the next thing I did, I went ahead to cross check my measurement. Remember I told you I'll be using 28 instead of 32. Okay, and when I finished taking the measurement, I got 8 inches, 7 inches instead of 8 inches. All right. So the next thing I did was to go ahead and add seam allowance. Just like this, we are done cutting. Go ahead and add your seam allowance. You can see how simple and easy it is. So if you've watched this video to this point, please do how to subscribe. I'm begging you, just support me by subscribing, like. All right. So now that we are done, go ahead and connect your lines. So let's go ahead and cut it. So when we are done cutting, remember we are still going to add side darts. All right. I swear I almost forgot. All right. So after this, I went ahead to extend that line there, and the next thing I did was to go ahead and add my side dart. So to add your side dart, all right, you are going to go ahead from your bust line downward. Remember I always say that the difference between your half length and your back half length, which is your nap to waist, whatever you have, you mark it on that side. For me, my own difference is 2 inches. That's I marked it from that my bust point downward, all right, and extended the length and the line to my bust span. So on the side base, because of the style, I went up by 4 inches. All right, and this is how to connect this line. Just connect it. This is how to analyze a style. Just look at the style and know how it works, how it is, and then use your pen or your marker to connect the lines. So this is where pattern drafting comes in. It's very important to draft your pattern. So before cutting, next thing I did, I went ahead to fold it out, because of course I have to fold it out, because if you don't fold it out, it will affect you when you finish cutting the dart out without folding it like this. So let's go ahead and cut it out. So you can see how I cut it. I didn't want to edit this place out. All right, so when you get to that side, go ahead and close this dart. There are so many ways to close the dart. I wish I've shown you in my previous video before this. And the next thing I did was to fold it into two. Make sure you divide the paper into two. Like me, I'm already used to imagining 1 inch. So you know, when you fold it, if your side dart is 2 inches, when you fold it by the side, you're going to get 2 inches, like 1 inch. All right, to go ahead and fold it, use your masking tape, hold it down, and then that's it. So on the side, you can see I have used my masking tape to do that. I went ahead to join the lower part so that I'll be able to get the cutting very well. Like I said, always close your dart. All right, so next thing I did was to go ahead and cut the side out. So we just like this, we are done cutting the front. All right, please, I'm begging you, please support me before you continue. Just help me like, so that YouTube can show this video to more audience. Help me like, subscribe, so that you can always get notification whenever I post a new video if you are yet to. And to my old subscribers, thank you so much. Now look at the front here. You can see how the lines are. So now it depends on you. If you want to put more bone, you can go ahead and mark the lines and then put more boning. Create that lines for bone channels. All right, so now the next thing is to go ahead and gum this paper together. It wasn't easy, honestly. It was not easy. I felt like this thing, but I didn't record it. But this was what I got. You can see how it is. The only thing I didn't do was I was unable to join this side together. But look at how the curve is seated. So this is what you are going to get if you follow this pattern. All right, you can see how it is. So with this, you can either do your bust caging, or you put your wadding, or you put your bra cup. So just like this, you are done cutting. All right, and for the strap, you can go ahead and measure the length of your strap and then fix it. So for the net, you are going to be needing like 1 yard of net to do it. Okay, but your client has to be there, or someone has to be there to fix it for you. Wrap it around your shoulder. So let's go ahead and cut the back. For the back, you're going to mark 1 inch, just like the way we did for the front, and then go ahead and connect the lines. So just like I said, you don't need to fold your pattern like this. Just open it down and continue. So from there, go ahead and mark 1.5 inch and then connect the line. So the next, that 1.5, remember, is for your shoulder slope, shoulder line. All right, so when you're done from that top line, go ahead and mark your bust point and then your back half length, or your napped waist. So now my back half length is 15.5, remember I told you. And from there, go ahead and mark your hip line, which is 8 inches. Please know the difference. Okay, my front length is 17.5 and my back half length. So the difference between that 17.5 and 15.5 is what I use for the side bust. All right, next thing is to go ahead and divide your bust into 6, add 1.5 to it, and then connect it to get your armhole length. So next thing, go ahead and mark your shoulder line and then your across back measurement. Remember, for the front is across chest, for the back is across back. All right, go ahead and mark the 3 inches, just like the way we did for the front, to connect the neck depth. And remember, we are not using this neck depth, neckline, we are just using it as a guide. So when you're done, go ahead and connect your shoulder to your across back measurement. Then on that your across back, go ahead and mark your bust measurement, divide your bust measurement into 4, and then go ahead and mark your bust measurement on the bust point. Now the distance from your bust to your across back measurement, whatever you have, divided into 2. Remember, for the front, you divide it into 4. All right, so when you're done, just go ahead and connect it like that. Okay, so let's go to the waist. On your waist level, go ahead and subtract 0.7 from your measurement. That's 3/4 on the waistline. This will help avoid zip bulge. All right, so next is to go ahead and divide your bust span into 2. Place your taper on your bust point, your half length, and the hip length. So when you are done, go ahead and connect the lines. All right, so when you are done connecting the lines, next thing is to go ahead, remember I said minus 0.7 from the back half length. All right, well, next thing I did was to go ahead and label it the bust point, the half length, and the hip line. So it's very simple. Okay, next is to go to your waistline, just like I said, minus either 0.5 or 0.7. Since we are not putting zip, if you like, you can put zip, you can do inner looping. All right, and then still fix your zip. So let's go ahead and connect that 0.7 that we removed. So you can see that one is going to cancel. We are going to get rid of that. So on your waistline, where you mark your bust point, minus, put half an inch, like you are dividing 1 inch. All right, to get you have to follow this method so that your back will not be bulging. All right, you know the back is not straight. So when you are done, go ahead and connect the dart. Remember, we use 1 inch to share the dart. So now remember, we are going to get rid of that. Let's go ahead and cross check the measurement. That's from where I marked the dart to another side where I minus the dart. You are going to minus it like that, and then divide your waist into 4. Remember, I said my waist is 32, but because of this tutorial, I'll be using 1 inch to share the dart. All right, so on the hip level I went ahead to divide my hip into 4 and then mark it as well. So go ahead and do the same thing. Next thing is to go ahead and connect the lines. Just like the way we divided the front, we are going to go ahead and share the side into 2. So go ahead and do the same thing. Divide the side into 2. You can divide it into 3. It depends on how you want your bone channel to be. Okay, for this tutorial I'm using 2. So on the hip line I also went ahead to divide the hip line into 2 and then went ahead to connect it, because that's where we are going to be sharing the dart. Now for the side, if you decide to divide it into 3, you can go ahead and share that 1 inch into 4. All right, so now since we only divided into 2, let's share that 1 inch into 2. So that's where I shared half an inch and then went ahead to connect it. That's half on both sides. Also, we are just like this, we are done cutting. Remember, for the front we went up by 1 inch on the side, and that's what I did so that it will align. So connect it like that, and from the shoulder downward I'll be using like 10 inches for the back. If you don't want yours to be like kind of too low, all right, you can take it up to 9 inches or 8.5, and then from that back you're going to connect it to the armhole. All right, connect it like this, and when you are done, go ahead and cut it out. Just like this, we are done cutting. So next thing is to go ahead and connect the lines, and from there go ahead and add your seam allowance, whether it's 1 inch or 1.5. So when you are done, let's go ahead and cut it out. Connect the lines and cut it out as well. Okay, next thing I went ahead to bring up this side of the front just for it to align, and then connected it as well. And when you are cutting, make sure you close your dart. Remember I said that close your dart before cutting. So when you are done cutting, go ahead, when you are done connecting rather, you can see how I shape it. Go ahead and cut it out. Please make sure you connect you close the dart before cutting it, like I said. All right, so this will help allow the side that you've cut, like the dart, to align properly. One side will not be longer than the other. All right, so let's go ahead and cut it out. And please don't forget to subscribe. So just like this, you can go ahead and put your loop. All right, remember, out of from 32 to 28. Okay, so now that we are done cutting, look at how it looks. You can see how the dart, there's no way you will sew something like this after cutting it that your zip will still budge. So let's just assume we are putting a loop. This is how it's going to look like. All right, and make sure you extend the strap to the back. So this is how it's going to look like. So if you've watched these videos to this point, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe, like, share, comment. So when you are done, you can go ahead and do the beading, both on the upper part and the lower part. All right, thank you so much for watching. Thank you. God bless you.